Hello students, welcome to the online classes once more. Today we are going to start a new prose piece, The Testament of a Worker by R.K. Narayan. Students, I'll be reading each and every line as I feel you must not have got your books, and I'll be also reading very slowly so that you understand each and every word properly. So let us start it. About the author, Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Iyer Narayan Swamy, popularly known to his readers as R.K. Narayan, was born into a middle-class family which moved from rural Madras to the city of Madras when he was about 5 years old. Here he was admitted to a missionary school which provided him with the first opportunity to learn English. As a young boy, Narayan moved to Mysore with his parents and thereafter received his higher education at Maharaja's College in Mysore. He published his first novel titled Swami and Friends in 1935. This was followed by another novel, The Bachelor of Arts, in 1937. In both these novels, Narayan had successfully created the mesmerizing world of Malgudi, with which he was to be identified in the days to come. Malgudi became the landscape that dominated Narayan's entire fictional world, also reflected in later novels like The Dark Room, 1938, The English Teacher, 1949, and The Financial Expert, 1952. He has more than 12 novels and about 5 collections of short stories to his credit, the most renowned of which is Malgudi Days, 1942. His non-fictional writings include a memoir titled My Days, 1974, two travelogues, My Dateless Diary, 1960, and The Emerald Route, 1980, and 4 collections of essays titles Next Sunday, 1960, Reluctant Guru, 1974, A Writer's Nightmare, 1988, and A Storyteller's World, 1989. He was presented the prestigious Sahitya Academy Award for his famous novel The Guide in 1958. The present essay is included in his volume A Writer's Nightmare, 1988. So students, in this long introduction of R.K. Narayan, we need to remember some of his writings, particularly his collections, and the collection from which this particular piece has been taken. The Testament of a Worker has been taken from the volume A Writer's Nightmare, 1988. So let us start the first paragraph of this prose piece. There are persons who have no ear for music, being tone deaf. Others have no eye for art, who may in a sense be called color blind. In a similar category, I am impervious to the subtler values in a car. Students, this is a very beautiful introduction to the story itself. R.K. Narayan says that there are different people who lack sensitivity for certain things. He says that some people lack sensitivity for music who are called tone deaf, and some lack for art, any piece of art or artistic ways, and they are called color blind. In a similar way, R.K. Narayan lacks sensitivity for the subtler values in a car. Students, subtler means more precise, more exact. He was impervious to these values. Students, impervious means that does not allow, but here it means, in a sense, blind to the subtler values in a car. So, students, I'm reading the next lines of the first paragraph. To me, an automobile is only the means to an end. I'm satisfied if I am provided a seat and four wheels that can roll, and I am blind to all other points in a car. In spite of this constitutional defect by a quirk of fate, I came to own an imported car, flashy and full of sophistication, which caused ecstasy in every utter pandit who saw it. Ah, recessed handle, would cry one. Look at this steering, maneuverable with a flick of the finger. Push button glass raiser, floating seats, multicolored speedometer, concealed air conditioner, tape recorder, digital alarm with calculator. They would examine my dashboard panel admiringly, although I never understood at any time the purpose of most of the buttons, switches, and gadgets, and found it safer to leave them alone. The air conditioner, which was supposed to make one's journey free from dust and heat and noise, was switched on during the 10 years I used the car for a total period of 30 minutes, which worked out to less than 3 minutes a year. Whenever the air conditioner was on, the windows were to be closed, which inhibited my driver, whose habit was to show right or left turn by thrusting his arm out. So, when the glass was raised, constantly hit it with his fist. He was also in the habit of gesticulating at erring pedestrians and addressing them volubly in passing. Now he felt constricted and capitulated and tongue-tied and drove morosely. Also, I think he was conditioned to driving to the tune of a rattle and roar of other vehicles beside, behind, and ahead. And without such accompaniments, he could not proceed with any confidence. Explanation. Students, the lines which I have just read give a description of what type of a car R.K. Narayan got exported from outside. Earlier, we got to know that Arcane lacked sensitivity for subtler values of cars. But he says that an automobile to him is only the means to an end. Here, students, means to an end is a phrase which means a process or a system or a means or ways. In other words, Arcane says that a car is only a system of transportation for him and nothing more than that. In the next line, we observe that he very clearly says what a car means to him. He says that it is something with a seat and four wheels to travel from one place to another. Students, constitutional defects means defects by birth. Arcane says that in spite of his constitutional defects, that means defects by birth, here defects not to be able to understand the values of sophisticated cars, he due to some twist in his fortune or luck got an imported car. It was flashy and full of sophistication. That means it was a very modern car. Every auto pundit or auto expert would be very happy to see such a car. They would express their feelings of joy to see such a car, to see the different features of the car, such as steering maneuverable with a flick of finger. That means a steering that can be steered with a finger only. Push button glass raisers, that means powered windows, air conditioner, digital tape recorder, and many more. Arcane never tried to understand any of the switches or gadgets inside his car. He felt it better to leave them alone. Narayan says that during a period of 10 years, only for 30 minutes the air conditioner was used, and if an average is taken out, it would be 3 minutes a year. Arcane also gives some other reasons for not using the air conditioner for a longer time. He says that his driver is accustomed to the old habits when he used to drive an old car. Now he hits the window whenever he tries to show the direction with his hands thrusting out of the windows. And the windows are to be closed when the air conditioner is on. Besides this, Arcane thinks that he is more used to the sounds of the roads, the rattling and roar of other vehicles. He sometimes also uses gesticulation. That means he uses his hands to show or convey any message to the pedestrians walking on the road. So, if the air conditioner is put on, the confidence of the driver comes down. And this is the reason Arcane gives for using the air conditioner of his car for a very short time, that is 30 minutes during a period of 10 years. Next paragraph. I lack automobile sensibility and do not regret it. I have a strong belief that man's ultimate destiny lies in walking. That is why he is endowed with a pair of legs which can operate without petrol or gears. It is this philosophy that leaves me indifferent at the mention of any petrol hike, a hybrid term which seems to flourish in oil. I know that the hiking will culminate where it can't hike any further. That will be at a stage where it may cost 1,000 rupees to travel 1 kilometer, and a man will rediscover the use of his feet. When that happens, oil wells will overflow into storm drains or stagnant for want of tankers, and petrol civilization will have become defunct. Students, let us understand a bit before the paragraph comes to an end. R.K. Narayan says that he never regrets, that means feels guilty, for not knowing the subtleties of a modern car or for being insensible to automobiles. He supports this with a reason that human beings are bestowed, that is, given with a pair of legs. And so our ultimate destination lies in walking only. R.K. Narayan further says that walking does not need any petrol or any gear. So he remains indifferent. Students, indifferent means without any reaction to some phrases like petrol hike, that means increase in the rate of petrol. In other words, as R.K. Narayan believed in walking, he is not affected by any news of hike in petrol price. Further, R.K. Narayan says that the hike in petrol price will culminate at a point of time when it cannot rise. Here, students, culminate means to come to an end. So, the rise in the price of petrol will stop at a point of time when it cannot go further, and at that point of time when people will not be able to pay 1,000 rupees to travel 1 kilometer, they will try to rediscover the use of their feet, that is, the pair of legs. Narayan says that by that time the whole petrol civilization will come to an end. There will be overproduction of petrols, but no one to use them. There will be no tankers to carry them, and the petrol wells would be overflowing. The following lines. The most ambitious work I have been planning for years is to be called Testament of a Worker. The title has been ready for decades, although the book may never be written, considering its boundless scope and ramification. Whether written or unwritten, the philosophy is deep-rooted in me. Time was when I walked 10 miles a day, morning and evening, my soul being idle for such an occupation, And even now, I continue the habit on a lesser scale whenever I may be and in any season. If I am compelled to stay indoors through bad weathers, I can still get the mileage out in my veranda, though I may be presenting an odd spectacle, pacing up and down like a bear in his cage. For a fanatic of this sort, the possession of a car is an anachronism, and especially the acquisition of a sophisticated imported make an irrelevancy and a nuisance. Students, there are certain words which are difficult or maybe sounding difficult. Let me take up the words. Fanatic. Fanatic means a person with excessive excitement. Sometimes it can be also considered as crazy or mad. Spectacle. Spectacle means display or show. Anachronism. Anachronism refers to a period or a situation where something is out of date or not existing or non-existent. Irrelevancy means without any relevance. That means without any reference, nothing, no reference. Nuisance means trouble or problems. Explanation. XII says that he had a very ambitious work. Students, here we must understand by ambitious work, Narayan refers to his literary works. So, he had an ambitious work, that is, to write on walking, the title of which will be Testament of a Walker. He had this dream for a long time, but now he doubts whether he would be able to or not to complete it. Even then, he says that the philosophy of walking is deeply rooted in him. Before he bought the car, he used to walk 10 miles a day. And he gives a good reason for this, because Mysore was a good place for walking in those days. Even in bad weather, he used to walk at home on his veranda. Now he says that when he used to walk in his veranda, he looked like a bear. Do you know what a bear is? It is an animal, a bear that is kept inside a cage. Then he concludes that it is irrelevant, it is like an anachronism to talk of an imported car by a person who is very much interested in walking and who likes to walk and believes in the philosophy of walking. So students, let us stop here for today. And till now, we have understood that XII is never interested in any car. He is more interested in walking, but somehow he gets an imported car which has many features, but he is not interested in those. Then he says that he is not also interested in phases like petrol hike, because he knows that at one point of time all these things will be of no importance, as human beings have to use their pair of legs as a means of transportation. So students, we will continue in our next class. Till then, bye.